So my name is Mitch, and it's my contact info. Please feel free to contact me for any reason and any time. I'm way happy to help people any way I can. The last 13 years I've been making a living with a strange project of mine that became very popular very quickly, and I had to scramble and put a company together. So I know a lot about what to do and what not to do about putting a company together and running a small business. So if you need help with that, or with community, or if you're depressed, whatever, feel free to contact me. Here, I got a bunch of stuff I could talk about, but I'll just sort of whip through things. I go all over the world giving talks and giving workshops. I'm one of the early, a founder of one of the early hackerspaces in the world, Noisebridge in San Francisco, and as well as doing other things that I do, almost none of it is conventional. And I could never pass as conventional, for one thing. I have blue hair. But I think it's really important that we learn from other people, but I also think it's really important that we all accept ourselves for the unique person that we are. Because you know what? There are people who can act what they think is normal, but no one's normal. Normal is a whole bunch of qualities that you can list, and no one has all of those qualities. We're all unique individuals, except for me, and that was a joke, sorry. But we're all unique individuals, and it's really important to embrace all of these aspects of ourselves and make use of it. Because all the parts of ourselves, even the parts we think we don't like, are part of us and are really important for us and the way we look at the world, and that those things can help us create projects, especially in a supportive community like this, that can enable us to make our lives better, help the people around us make their lives better, and maybe even have a project that other people will find meaningful and maybe pay you to do, and you can make a living like I do, doing what you love. I think that would be pretty cool if everyone in this room were making a living doing what you love, each and every one of you doing what you totally love doing, and by doing that you get enough of what you need to keep doing it. So unfortunately, where I come from, Silicon Valley, is not a place where people do what they love, but some do. But why do you suppose Silicon Valley became the place where a lot of tech comes from, a lot of creative, innovative tech? Why didn't it happen here in Shenzhen back in the 1980s? Why didn't it happen in Paris? Why didn't it happen in New York City?
Because of the psychedelic revolution in the 60s.
That's part of it. In fact, that's actually a symptom of the same thing that Silicon Valley is a symptom of. It's because Silicon Valley is in San Francisco, where it's full of weirdos, total weirdos. San Francisco is a place that has always attracted weirdos and accepts them, and people who can go there, explore and do things in their own unique ways. In 1980, actually in the 70s, when the Homebrew Computer Club first started coming together, there were a whole bunch of individual geeks who were not looked highly upon. Because back in the 70s, I was a kid in the 70s, and being a geek back then was dangerous. I was beaten up every day for being a geek. And it wasn't a cool thing like it is now. People didn't understand devices. It wasn't out in the world. Computers were only on sci-fi movies, science fiction movies, where computers would destroy the world. But these were a whole bunch of geeks who thought with the latest technology that was available that they could make not these huge, horrible computers that would take over the world, but cool computers that they could control by themselves at home and maybe interconnect and do other cool things with other people. Everyone thought they were crazy, and probably they were, but they were able to come together in a community called the Homebrew Computer Club and help each other to form what were the earliest personal computers, and it formed, out of that formed Apple and Microsoft and a bunch of other computer companies that still exist today, one of which is the biggest capitalized company on the planet, which isn't necessarily a good thing, but these people were able to create these things they thought were awesome and that changed the world in many ways for the positive because they came together as weirdos to do what they thought was awesome. That's why I love hackerspaces, because that's really what we're doing here. And there are a lot of things that have come from hackerspaces that really are awesome and that are changing the world. Trying to think of what I want to talk about and not take up too much time. But like drones, they came from a bunch of German hackers. The first time a drone was shown publicly, made a DIY drone, was by German hackers at a hacker conference called the Chaos Computer Club. It was their 23rd one in 2006. And these German hackers who'd been working on this for 2 years brought this thing about this big with 4 big computer fans, each with their own microcontroller, and then a microcontroller in the middle to control all of those, and lots of LEDs, of course, because LEDs are cool. And they had a remote control that they hacked together from some remote control car, and they were able to make this thing fly. And it was amazing. And now there's tens of thousands of different people making a living in all sorts of different ways on what we now call drones, what they then called a microcopter. 3D printers is another example. It was because one person was obsessed with 3D printers from NYC Resistor hackerspace in New York City. And this was not all that long ago. He was the first person to make modules that worked, and he shared it with other people. It was this big open source thing all over the world, and people helped each other. They helped him to create these little modules. He finally made enough of them, he could put them all together to have the first working 3D printer kit. And he started selling them, and he was mobbed, and other people at NYC Resistor came in to help, and it formed MakerBot, which grew really fast, really big, and sold for like $250 million a couple of years ago, before they sort of dissolved because they sold themselves to a big horrible corporation. But that was their choice. But now there's, again, tens of thousands of different people making a living doing things that are related to 3D printers or 3D printers themselves. What kind of things are going to come out of this space? It would be interesting to see. Because here, not only do we have a whole bunch of incredibly creative weirdos, we also have all of the resources of all of China focused right here in Shenzhen. It's kind of amazing resource that everyone has here. I have to fly thousands of kilometers in a metal tube to come here, but all any of you have to do is go on Taobao. So, yeah, so I think that's really all I want to say without getting into too much else. Would it be okay if we went around the room and just introduce yourself? You don't have to talk if you don't want to, but just say anything you do that you think is cool and like what you would like to learn more of. How about that?
If you have some project, it will be interesting if you present them or tell us something about this project.
Hi, I'm Mark, and I'm from San Francisco as well, and I work at the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art in the conservation department, and there's like artwork from the 80s and 90s, sometimes the 60s, that has custom electronics in it and old software. And we have to keep it running, and it's really hard, but it's really fun. So that's like my job. And I also teach at some art schools in San Francisco, and I teach microcontrollers and programming with Node.js. And at one school, it's called physical computing because it's really arty. In the other school, it's called Internet of Things because they're very commercial, but it's all, So I work with artists a lot, and yeah. Technology.
My name is Ed. I'm not a geek. I know nothing about technology, but I'm sort of here on this trip to learn some things. I'm a retired school teacher, taught 6th graders and did library work. But what I really like in doing is I'm an improver. I did improvisational theater. And what I did is I took that and took it into my classroom. And so I did a lot of cooperative learning, projects, things like that. And that's sort of my love and thing I'm most involved in and really love doing. So again, I'm just along for the ride here. I'm enjoying myself very much.
I'm Eric from Toronto, Canada. I do a lot of different things, including run Maker Festival in Toronto, which is kind of like our version of Maker Fair. The company called Noisebridge that made these North Paws, they're called. It's a compass anklet that vibrates to tell you what way is north, gives you a sense of direction. And I've also been learning machine learning recently. I'm super into synthetic biology, and I run the Quantified Self meetup in Toronto.
My name is Kate, and I also live in Toronto, and I work at a school called OCAD, which is an art and design school. So I teach physical computing and electronics, and specifically wearable technology, and I run a lab there called the Social Body Lab.
Okay, my name is Felix, I'm from Germany. My background is physics and some architecture, academic background. I program, sometimes professionally, and I hang out a lot at MAKERSPACEs. And sometimes people ask me about this. That's just something I have with me. I'm learning the CNC machine. That's a little box I made. And laser cut metal piece here with linoleum on top. Okay.
Hi, I'm Paul. I'm from New Zealand. 1984, I moved to San Francisco for all the reasons that Mitch just told you about. I worked for startups for 20 years. And built design chips and was a kernel hacker and a whole bunch of things, doing crypto for stuff. And then escaped when my kids became teenagers, because frankly, the Bay Area is not a safe place for teenagers to grow up. No guns in New Zealand. So I moved back and missed the whole makerspace revolution and looked back with a lot of not guilt, but longing. So I started my own makerspace, and so we have the world's most southerly makerspace in Dunedin in New Zealand, at least for the moment, which I help run. And I come to Shenzhen to build stuff periodically, 3 or 4 times a year. I love this place. I just flew in this morning. My current project, at least in the makerspace, is we're building smart homes for penguins. So we have these little blue penguins, and we need to know if anyone's getting in there, or if any animals are attacking them or anything. And they have a particular problem that when they mate, they look after an egg. And one of them sits on the egg, and the other one goes off and gets food for a day and then comes back, and then the next day the other penguin goes out. If the first penguin doesn't come back, the other penguin sits on the egg until they starve. So all our penguins are tagged. We're going to read their tags every night and find out if they don't come home, and then steal their eggs and put them in an incubator. So.
I work as a traveling sysadmin, travel around Asia and do sysadmin work online, and in my free time I check out cool hacker stuff like this. That's about it.
I'm Freeman. I am really enthusiastic about electric unicycles. I have a couple over there. So that's my main gig right now.
I'm Buzz. I'm here to see China and hear some interesting stories.
Hi, my name's Gary Hatfield, and I came to meet new people and to network with new people, and I've met a lot of new friends. I've been having a good time. My passion is image processing and image manipulations. I do a lot of stuff with collage and with multi-layered Photoshop files, and I'm looking to kind of advance that to the next level.
This is Fanzi here. I was working in the amusement park before, and work in the 3D CGI pipeline, and have experience about image combusting and image processing too, and something about image
geometry correction, if anybody know that. And currently I'm working as a system administrator at Dorabot, the same as House. So I'm interested in free software and was looking forward to implement some of the image algorithm myself, but I'm still learning some mathematics.
Yeah, my name is Sven. I live in Berlin and I have a background in physics and electronics. I work on microphone arrays, and so microphone arrays can obviously be used to record sound, but at the same time they also record the direction that each sound is coming from. So the task of my work, or the goal, is to reproduce not only the sounds but the direction that they're coming from and the feeling of space that you get from being present in a sonic environment.
I'm Ming. I'm a maker from Hong Kong. I studied mechanical engineering, and from now I'm starting to teach a kid about the STEAM education and also developing some projects in my workshop.
Hi, I'm Michael. I am a software engineer, and I noticed that all the coolest projects in software engineering have to do something with robots and electronics. So now I'm learning electronics, and I'm playing with FPGAs.
Hi, I'm Ed. I'm from the UK. I'm interested how we can hack our lifestyles to be less destructive on the environment and each other and ourselves. I've just been traveling around China for 6 months, exploring Yunnan and Sichuan, which are beautiful, and I've joined these guys, which is really exciting.
Hi, I'm Sasha from Ghent, which is a medium town in Belgium. I'm part of a smallish hackerspace, 20 people. A background in physics also, lots of physicists. I really missed out on the first wave of the hackerspaces. It was happening while I was a student, and I really regret that. So when I came in, actually the hackerspace was dwindling a bit. The pioneers, the founders were gone, and it was not as good. And so I kind of wanted to experience the second wave, and I came on the strip to learn how other hackerspaces make it work well and apply it to a hackerspace at home to make it like a place where people can share skills and learn from each other and make cool things. I brought like a little project from I just grabbed it while packing my bags, and it should be able to had to fit in my backpack. So but it's nothing more than an ESP board with a lithium battery and a passive infrared sensor, which I built to solve a problem, which is when I'm programming at work, I need to focus completely, so I can't stand any noise. I share an office with other people, but if they talk, it's really hard to think, so I use noise cancelling headphones, loud techno music, and then my boss comes up because he wants to talk to me about an email he just sent, and I don't react, so he taps me on the shoulder, and I freak out and I forget everything. So I needed like some kind of detector that I can put somewhere. So if he passes by, so it's with a battery, so I can just put it on a shelf like 5 meters away. If he passes by, the sound plays on the computer where I'm working at in my headphones, so I know what to do. Solve a problem is a good way of creating a product. So if the product existed, I would buy it. So
Hi, I'm Martin. I'm from Glasgow in Scotland. So I'm a lecturer in computer science at Strathclyde University there. So I'm quite interested in maker education. My background is software engineering, but I guess since the Raspberry Pi came out in the UK, I've had a real interest in electronics. So I've been moving into that area. I came to Shenzhen for the first time in March this year and couldn't stay away basically, so this is me back for another month. So yeah, just really interested in sort of back home in Scotland, we don't have a huge maker scene, so trying to grow it there. So I've started a meetup there, trying to bring people together and hopefully start a makerspace there as well.
Well, I'm Raphael Lee. My job title is a robotics engineer. I deal with 6 freedom DOF industrial robotics and manipulate robots with different objects. And my part-time, I'm a member of Shenzhen DIY, which is a hacker community. I build a lot of things here. This is my own keyboard. I use it every day. It's definitely defined for all by myself. I want to make it just for myself. I don't want it to be public. But I have some other objects which is more useful to others, which is called USB cable cracker. We have many USB cables, but we don't know the quality. I invent a device to measure the quality of USB cable. That may be useful for others, I think. Well, Shenzhen DIY helped me a lot. We are on Linux hackers here. Yeah, thanks.
Hi, I'm Jan from Munich. I got involved when 3D printers started, so I looked into the Fab Lab in Munich, then I started to build my own, and then I discovered this wonderful place where people come together, and I stayed. And now I'm here and want to meet new people, learn about China, and yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, Jeremy. So I'm a member of Lab Zero, so just come to have a look at Mitch Altman. So. Okay.
Hi, my name is Rafael. I'm from Brazil. There I have an e-commerce and maker blog and discussion forum, and we try to create kits and a lot of content in Portuguese so that Brazilians can learn about robotics, electronics, Arduinos, and all the making things we like to do, and we try to make kids get interested in that. That's it.
Hey, I'm Hari. I'm from Bangalore. I help create discussion spaces for geeks and hackers in Bangalore. That's it.
Hi, I'm Christoph. I'm an electronic engineer, and I advise companies who want to use particular technologies in their development on how to use them and how to do product development. And I develop products myself also for these companies. I'm not exactly a project starter. I mostly contribute to others' projects. And 6 weeks ago I quit my job and started traveling. Now I'm in Asia until late December.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm in software and I just want to broaden myself a bit, so I joined the Dim Sum Labs MAKERSPACE in Hong Kong because I worked there a few months ago. So yeah, my interests are right now around smart home stuff and human presence detection, and my next stage there is to kind of remove the cloud, you know, so kind of run it all a bit local and more with better privacy.
Hi, I'm Yannick. I'm French. I'm software engineer, expert on real-time and embedded software. I created a concept for my company 6 years ago in Shenzhen to play with technologies. So we play with software, electronic, mechanics. We create user interaction and user experience for retail shop. So it's to bring technologies where people do not expect to get it and to try to disturb people on some manner. We recently created a 3D printing farm with 25 printers just to be able to answer our demand. So we are based in Shenzhen. We recruit if people are interested. And well, that's almost it. Thank you.
So it's my turn. I'm the secondary official videographer of Lab Zero. My name is Ferdinand. I'm from the Philippines, and I used to run the motor maker business of Motorola and work with Google and Lenovo. Then I quit, and I'm temporarily retired, until I found the right technology for me. The thing that I love right now is filming. I've been going through around the world. I've been in Paris last week, or last month I should say, and I've been in the US next month. And that's the thing that makes me happy right now. And if you want, you can go to my YouTube channels. And I've been trying to teach also microcontrollers based on the Intel 8051. I don't like Arduino. And I've been creating some automation stuff right now for universities in the Philippines. That's it.
我叫大鱼，我不吃鱼，所以大鱼。And I like makerspaces because I used to work at Google and people do many things. And I said, when I quit Google, where should I meet interesting people? So I create makerspaces. I could give a short presentation, 5-10 minutes, about how a panda would program a computer. Was the title I gave at a talk in US for a language I create to make it easier to program computers. I don't know if we have time for a talk of 10 minutes after everyone introduced. But I would like to talk about it and connect with other people.
Why don't you just do that, and then anyone interested can join you.
Well, I have slides, so...
Yeah, so
yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do that.
I'm Laurent, I'm French. I live in China for 6 years, and I start my company this year. I sell some electric toothbrush on Amazon. It's a bit difficult, and I want to make toothbrush now, different one, maybe DIY one, for kids, for everyone. So I come here for this.
Hi, I'm Robert. I'm from Dublin, Ireland. I have a tendency to travel to lots of maker fairs, and unfortunately I won't be able to make a maker fair Shenzhen next month. But at the moment I've been exploring projects involving wearable electronics, incorporating electronics into clothing, more of the fashion side, but I've also explored movement and interaction in some other projects. Thanks.
I'm Sumuk. I'm from Bangalore, India, and I'm working on an exchange over the Ethereum blockchain. And yeah, I'm from a hackerspace called Jaga, which Freeman runs, and we go around in unicycles, and there's chickens in the farm, and yeah, you guys should come if you like makerspaces in India.
Hi everyone, I'm Cedric, another French. I'm embedded systems engineer. I make hardware and simple software that runs on these little kind of boards. So this one is a motion sensor. It's used for many reasons, but the latest application was to put it on dancers and use their motion to make visualizations and sonifications. I'm currently working on another version that's like the improvement of it that allows tracking it in 3D with a very accurate resolution. If anyone is interested in it, it can also be used for virtual reality to bring physical objects in the virtual world and interact with them. It will be smaller than that and open source, obviously. And so I've got a little presentation that I could give for anyone who is interested, where I can explain all the details about it.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm also a member of Lab Zero, and my project is about teaching molecular biology in schools, basically, because we know all this new stuff with genetic engineering and with cures for cancer and maybe even human genetic modifications. And I think it's going to be very important in the next decades, but it's not something that you can teach in schools right now, not the practical part, because there is no cheap equipment, the reagents are hard to get, and there are no teaching materials. So I'm trying to develop a solution for schools to be able to teach this stuff. It includes hardware and supply of reagents and teaching materials. So if you're interested in this stuff, please come talk to me. Maybe later.
Hello, I'm Leo. I'm a student from Zhuhai, and these two guys is my friends, and we go to Shenzhen to here for 2 hours. Just join this meeting, and we built a makerspace in our schools. And today we want to hear to learn something, because you guys is doing great things. So I think this meeting can allow us to learn so many things. So we just join the meeting. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Victor, and I'm still a student in high school.
and I just have a project that for a solar power airplane with a Wi-Fi signal. So maybe sometimes we can go out and we can use it. And I came here for learning things. Same as him. Yes.
Yeah, it's a wide variety of people here. People who are just beginning, people who are just curious, people who have been playing a long time, people who've been working in their field for a long time, super experienced. And that's one of the things that's really great and wonderful about Hackerspaces. It's people who are very diverse. You know, there's electronics people, there's biology people, and people into software and all sorts of versions of hardware and software, and design, and people in manufacturing, education. We all have things that we can share with other people. No matter how little we know, there's still something we have experience in that other people can learn from. And no matter how much we know, there's things we don't know that we can learn from other people. And being in a community like this that's supportive for people to explore and find things that, you know, you think are really cool is a very powerful thing. No one's good when they first start learning anything. In fact, we're terrible at it when we first learn, no matter how talented we might be in that field. So having a community like this makes it safe just to try things, just to see if you'll enjoy it. And if you're not good, if you're enjoying it, you might try it more anyways. And if you keep enjoying it, you can do it more and more, and eventually you'll put 10,000 hours in, and then you'll be great. And you can teach other people. So yeah, this is a safe environment for failing. And failing is one of the most important parts of life. It's frustrating, it can be scary, but it's important. We learn much, much, much more from failing than from succeeding. We succeed usually by luck, but we fail because we're trying something that we think, hopefully we think is cool, and we fail a lot more than we succeed, so we may as well learn from it. And it's a great thing to do. Yeah, so